be party soon?
Out of my sight!
My
Out of
retina
my
die!
God, help. Betty, child, dear child, will you wake? Will you open your eyes? Betty, little one.
Uncle, Susanna Walcott is here from Dr. Griggs.
Oh, the doctor? Let her come. Let her come.
Come in, Susanna.
What does the doctor say, child?
Dr. Griggs, he bid me come and tell you, Reverend Sir, that he can discover no medicine for it in his books.
Then he must search on.
Aye, sir, he hath been searching since he left you, sir, but he bid me come and tell you that you might look to unnatural things for the cause of it.
No, no. There be no unnatural causes here. Tell him I have sent for Reverend Hale of Beverly, and Mr. Hale will surely confirm that. Let him look to medicine and put out all thought of unnatural causes. There be none.
Aye, sir. He bid me come and tell you.
Speak nothing of it in the village, Susanna.
Go directly home and speak nothing of unnatural causes.
Aye, sir. Pray for her.
Uncle, the rumor of witchcraft is all about. I think you'd best go down and deny it yourself. The parlor is packed with people, sir. I'll sit with her.
And what shall I tell them? That my daughter and my niece I discovered dancing like heathen in the forest?
We did dance, Uncle. Let you tell them I confessed it. But they're speaking of witchcraft. Betty is not witched.
Abigail, I cannot go before the congregation when I know you have not opened with me. What did you do with her in the forest?
We did dance, and when you leapt out of the bush so suddenly, Betty was frightened and she fainted. There's the whole of it.
Child, sit you down.
I would never hurt Betty. I
Now
know
look,
what
you
it is.
child. I have no desire to punish you. That will come in its time. But if you traffic with spirits in the forest, I must know it. Or surely my enemies will know it. And they will ruin me with it.
But we never conjured spirits.
Then why can she not move herself since midnight? This child is desperate. It must come out. My enemies will bring it out. Let me know what you've done there. You do understand I have many enemies?
I know it, Uncle.
There is a faction that is sworn to drive me from my pulpit. Do you understand it?
I think so, sir.
Now then, in the midst of such contention, my own household is discovered to be the very center of some obscene practice. Abominations are done in the forest.
It were only sport, Uncle.
I saw Tituba waving her arms over the fire when I came on you, and I heard a screeching and a gibberish coming from her mouth.
She always sings her Barbados songs, and we dance.
I cannot blink what I saw, Abigail, for my enemies will not blink it. I saw a dress lying in the grass.
A dress?
Aye, a dress. And I thought I saw someone naked running through the trees.
No one was naked. You mistake yourself.
I saw it! Now tell me true, Abigail. Now my ministry's at stake. My ministry and perhaps your cousin's life. Whatever abomination you have done, you must give me all of it now, for I dare not be taken unaware when I go before them down there.
There's nothing more, I swear it, Uncle.
Abigail, I have fought here 3 long years to bend these stiff-necked people to me. And now, just when there must be some good respect for me in the parish, you compromise my very character. I have given you a home, child. I have put clothes upon your back. Now give me upright answer. Your name in the town, it is entirely white, is it not?
Why, I'm sure it is, sir. There be no blush about my name.
Is there any other reason than you have told me for Goody Proctor discharging you? It has troubled me that you are now 7 months out of her house, and in all this time no other family has called for your service.
They want for slaves, not such as I. Let them send to Barbados for that. I'll not black my face with any of them.
No, we cannot have anyone. Why? Goody Putnam, come in.
It is a marvel. It is surely a stroke of hell upon you.
No, Goody Putnam, it is.
How high did she fly?
No,
How high?
she never flew.
Why, it's sure she did. Mr. Collins saw her going over Ingersoll's barn and come down light as a bird, he says.
Now look you, Goody Putnam, she never. Why, good morning, Mr. Putnam.
It is a providence that things done out is a providence.
What's up, sir? What's...
Why, her eyes is closed. Look you, Anne.
Why, that's strange. Ours is open.
Your little Ruth is sick.
I'd not call it sick. The devil's touch is heavier than sick, you know. It's death. It's death driving into them forked and hooked.
Oh, pray not. Why? How does your child end?
She ails as she must. She would not wake today, yet her eyes open, and she walks, and hears not, sees not, and cannot eat. Her soul is taken, surely.
They say you've sent for Reverend Hale of Beverly?
A precaution only. He has much experience in demonic arts.
He
and
has indeed, and found a witch in Beverly last year, now that you remember that.
They only thought that were a witch, Goody Ann. And I am certain there be no element of witchcraft
No
here.
witchcraft! Now look you, Mr. Paris.
Thomas, I pray you, leave not to witchcraft. I know that you, least of all Thomas, would ever wish such disastrous a charge laid upon me. You cannot lead to witchcraft. They will howl me out of Salem for such corruption in my own house.
Now look you, sir. I've taken your part in all contention here, and would continue. But I cannot if you hold back in this. There are hurtful, vengeful spirits laying hands on these children.
But Thomas, you cannot.
And tell Mr. Paris what you've done.
Mr. Paris, I have laid 7 babies unbaptized into the earth. Believe me, sir, you never saw more hardy babies born. And yet, each shriveled in my arms the very night of their birth. I have spoke nothing, but my heart has clamored intimations. Now, this year, my Ruth, my only, I see her turning strange. A secret child she's become this year, and now shrivels like some sucking mouth we're pulling on her life too. So I thought to send her to your Tituba, and
Tituba? What may Tituba?
Tituba can conjure the dead, Mr. Paris.
Goody Ann, it is a formidable sin to conjure up the dead.
I take it on my soul. But who else may surely tell us who murdered my baby?
Woman!
They were murdered, Mr. Paris! And mark this proof, mark it. Last night my Ruth were ever so close to their little spirits, for how else is she now struck dumb but some power of darkness would stop her mouth? It is a marvelous sign, Mr. Paris.
Don't you understand it, sir? There's a murdering witch among us bound to keep herself in the dark. Let your enemies make of it what they will. You cannot blink it more.
Then you were conjuring spirits last night.
Not I, sir, not I. Tituba and Ruth.
Now I am undone.
You are not undone. Wait for no one to charge you. Declare it yourself. You have discovered witchcraft.
In my house. In my house, Thomas. They will trouble me with this. They will make of it a...
Your pardons? I only thought to see how Betty is.
Why aren't you at home? Who's with Ruth?
Her grandma come. She's improved a little, I think. She gave a powerful sneeze before.
Oh, there's a sign of life.
I'd fear no more. It were a grand sneeze, and another like it would shake the woods together.
Will you leave me now, Thomas? I would pray a while alone.
Uncle, you have prayed since midnight. Why do you not go down?
No. I'll wait till Mr. Hale arrives.
Now look you, sir. Let you strike out against the devil, and the village will surely bless you for it. Come down. Speak to them. Pray with them. They're thirsting for your word, mister. Surely you'll pray with them.
I have no stomach for disputation this morning. I will lead them in a song, but let you say nothing of witchcraft. The cause is yet unknown. I have had enough contention since I come here. I want no more.
Mercy, you go home to Ruth, you hear?
I'm up.
If she starts for the window, cry for me at once.
Yes, Uncle.
There is a terrible power in her arms today.
How is Ruth sick?
It's weirdish, I know not. She walked through the since last night.
Betty? Betty, now stop this! Sit up now!
Have you tried beating her? I gave Ruth a good one last night, and she walked for a minute. Here, let me have her.
No, he'll be coming up soon. Now look, you. If they be questioning us, tell them we danced. I told them as much already.
And what more?
He saw you naked.
Oh, Jesus!
What'll we do? The whole village is out.
What'll we do?
I come from the farm. The whole country's talking witchcraft. They'll be calling us witches, Abby.
They'll be calling us witches, Abby. She means to tell, I know it.
Abby, we've got to tell. Witchery's a hanging air. A hanging like done in Boston 2 years ago. Abby, you have to tell the truth. You'll only be whipped for dancing, and the other things Oh, will be whipped.
I never done none of it, Abby. I only looked.
Oh, and you're a great one for looking, aren't you, Mary Warren?
Betty? Now, Betty dear, it's Abigail. I'll beat you, Betty! My, you seem improving. Now, I talked to your papa and I told him everything, so there's nothing
I
to...
won't let Mama.
What ails you, Betty? Your mom is dead and buried.
Don't fly to her. Let me fly to Mama.
He knows everything. I told him everything.
You drink blood, Abby. You drink blood.
You will never say it.
You
You will
did.
never.
You did. You take a John to kill John Proctor's life. You take a John to kill Vinnie Proctor.
Shut it! Now shut it! Now look, you. All of you. We danced, and Tituba conjured Ruth Putnam's dead sisters. And that is it. And mark this, let either of you breathe a word or the edge of a word about the other things, and I swear I will come to you in the dark of some terrible night with a pointy reckoning that will shudder you. And you know I can do it. I saw Indians smash my dear parents' heads on the pillows next to mine, and I've seen some reddish work done at night, and I can make you wish that you would never see the sun go down. Now you sit up and stop this!
What's Carter? Abby, she's gonna die. It's a sin to conjure.
I say shut it, Mary Warren!
Oh, I'm just going home.
Be you foolish, Mary Warren? Be you deaf? I forbid you leave the house, did I not? Why shall I pay you? I'm looking for you more often than my cows.
I only come to see the great doings in the world.
I'll show you great doing on your arse one of these days. Now get you home. My wife is waiting with your work.
I'd best be off. I have my room to look after. Good morning, Mr. Proctor.
She's only gone silly sometime. She'll come out of it.
So she flies, eh? Where are her wings?
Oh, John, surely you're not believing she flies.
The road past my house is a pilgrimage all morning. The town's mumbling witchcraft.
Oh, gosh. We were dancing in the woods last night, and my uncle left in on us. She took fright, is all.
Dancing by moonlight. You'll be clapped in the stocks before you're 20.
Give me a word, John, a soft word.
No, Abby, I've not come for that.
You come 5 miles to see a silly girl fly? I know you better.
I come to see what mischief your uncle's brewing now. Put it out of mind, Abby.
John, I'm waiting for you every night.
Abby, you'll put it out of mind. I'll not be coming for you more.
You're surely sporting with me.
You know me better.
I know how you clutched my back behind your house and sweated like a stallion whenever I come near. I saw your face when she put me out. You love me then and you do now.
Abby, that's a wild thing to say.
A wild thing may say wild things. I have seen you since she put me out. I have seen you nights.
I've hardly stepped off my farm this 7 months.
I have a sense where he, John, and yours has drawn me to my window. Do you mean to tell me you've never looked up at my window?
Perhaps I have.
I know you, John. I know you. I cannot sleep for dreaming. I cannot dream, but I wake and walk about the house as though I find you coming through some door.
Now, child.
How do you call me child?
Abby, it may be I think of you softly from time to time, but I'll cut off my hand before I'll ever reach for you again. Now, you put it out of mind. You never touched.
But we did.
But we did not.
Oh, I marvel how such a strong man may let such a sickly
You'll
wife.
speak nothing of Elizabeth.
She is blackening my name in the village. She is spreading lies about me. She is a cold, sniveling woman, and you bend to her. You let her
Do
turn
you look for weapon?
I look for John Proctor. I put knowledge in my heart. I never knew what pretense Salem was. I never knew the lying lesson I was taught by these Christian women and their covenanted men. And now you bid me tear the light out of my eyes. I will not, John. I cannot. You love me, John Proctor, and whatever sin it is, you love me yet. Pity me, John, pity me!
Child. Child, stop that! What ails you?
Betty!
What is it? What are you doing to her?
She heard
Betty!
me singing and suddenly she started screaming. The song! The song! She cannot bear to hear the Lord's name.
No, God forbid.
Mark it for a sign, mark it!
That's a notorious sign of witchcraft afoot. A prodigious sign.
My mother told me that.
Rebecca, come to her. We are lost. She suddenly cannot bear to hear the Lord's name. There is a hard sickness here, Giles Corey, so please to keep the peace.
I have not said a word. No one here can testify I've said a word. Is she going to fly again? I hear she flies.
Be quiet now.
What have you done? Pray, calm yourself. I have 11 children and 26 times a grandmother. I have seen them all through their silly seasons, and when it come on them, they will run the devil bow-legged, keeping up with their mischief. I think she'll wake when she tires of it. The child spirit is like a child. You can never catch it by running after it. You must stand still, and for love it will soon itself come back.
Aye, that's the truth of it, Rebecca.
This is no silly season, Rebecca. My Ruth is bewildered. She cannot eat. Perhaps she's not hungry yet. Mr. Paris, I hope you are not decided to go in search of blue spirits. I've heard promise of that outside.
There's a wide opinion running in the parish that the devil may be among us. And I would satisfy them that they are wrong.
Then let you come out and call them wrong. Are you a minister or Mr. Hale? Did you consult the wardens of the church before you called this minister to look for devils?
He's not coming to look for devils.
And what's he coming for? There be children dying in the village, mister. I see none dying.
Pray, John, be calm. Mr. Paris, I think you'd best send Reverend Hale back as soon as he comes. This will set us all to arguing again in the society, and we thought to have peace this year. I think we ought to rely on Dr. Griggs now and good prayer.
Rebecca, the doctor's baffled.
If so he is, then let us go to God for the cause of it. There is prodigious danger in the seeking of blue spirits. I fear it. Let us rather blame ourselves.
How may we blame ourselves? I am one of 9 sons, the Putnam seat of peopled this province. And yet I have but one child left of 8. And now she shrivels.
I cannot fathom that.
You think it's God's work, you should never lose a child. Nor a grandchild either. And I bury all but one?
When Reverend Hale arrives, you will proceed to look for signs of witchcraft here. You cannot command, Mr. Paris. We vote by name in the society, not by acreage. Never heard you worried so in the society, Mr. Proctor. I do not think I've seen you at Sabbath meetings since snow flew. I have trouble enough without I come 5 miles to hear him preach nothing but hellfire and bloody damnation. There are many others that don't come to church these days because he hardly mentioned God anymore.
Why, that's a drastic charge.
It's somewhat true. There are many that quail to bring their children.
I do not preach for children, Rebecca. It is not the children that are unmindful of their obligations to this ministry. Where is my firewood? My contract provides I be supplied my firewood. And yet I'm waiting since November for a stick. And even in November, I had to show my frostbitten hands like some London beggar.
You are allowed £6 per year to buy your firewood, Mr. Paris.
I am paid little enough without I spend £6 a year on firewood. The salary is £60, Mr. Proctor. I am not some preaching farmer with a book under my arm. I'm a graduate of Harvard College.
I am well educated in mathematics.
Mr. Corey, you will look far for a man of my kind at £60 a year. I am not used to this poverty. I left a thrifty business in the Barbados to serve the Lord. I cannot fathom it why I am persecuted here. I cannot offer up one proposition, but there be a howling riot of argument. I have often wondered if the devil be in it somewhere. I cannot understand you people otherwise.
Mr. Paris, you were the first minister ever to demand the deed to this house.
I am your 3rd preacher in 7 years. I do not wish to be put out like the cat when some majority feels the wind. You people seem not to comprehend that a minister is the Lord's man in the parish. A minister is not to be so lightly crossed and contradicted.
Aye.
There is either obedience or the church will burn like hell is burned.
Can you speak one moment without we land in hell again? I'm sick of hell.
It is not for you to say what is good for you to hear.
I may speak my heart, I think.
What are we, Quakers? We are not Quakers here yet, Mr. Proctor. And you may tell that to your followers.
My followers.
I am not blind. There is a party in this church. There is a faction and a party.
Against you? Against him and all authority. Why, then I must find it and join it.
He does not mean that.
I mean it solemnly, Rebecca. I like not the smell of this authority. I have a crop to sow and lumber to drag home. And what say you, Giles? They say there's a party. Let's find that party.
Oh, I've changed my opinion of this man. Mr. Paris, I beg your pardon. I never knew you had so much iron in you.
Thank you, Giles.
Suggest to the mind what the trouble be amongst us all these years. Think on it. Wherefore is everybody suing everybody else? I have been 6 times in court this past year.
Is it the devil's fault that a man cannot say good morning without you clap him for defamation? You're getting old, Giles, and you're not doing as well as you did.
John Proctor, I have only this last month collected £4 damages for you Publicly saying I burned the roof off your house and
I never said no such thing, but I paid you for it. So I hope I can call you deaf without charge. Now come along, Giles, and help me drag my lumber home.
I'll be damned first.
A moment, Mr. Proctor. What lumber is it that you're dragging home, if I may ask you? My lumber, from out my forest by the riverside. Why, we've surely gone mad this year. What anarchy is this? That tract is in my bounds. It's in my bounds,
In
Mr.
your
Proctor.
bounds? I bought that tract from Goody Nurse's husband 5 months ago.
He had no right to sell it. It stands clear in my grandfather's will that all land between the river and...
Your grandfather had a habit of wheeling away land that never belonged to him, if I may say it plain.
That's God's truth. He nearly willed away my north pasture, but he knew I'd break his fingers before he set his name to it. Let's get your lumber home, John. I feel a sudden urge to work coming on.
You load one oak of mine and you'll fight to drag it home.
I and will win too, Putnam, this fool and I. Come on.
I'll have my men on you, Corey. I'll clap a writ on you.
Some partakers. Mr. Head, my, it's good to see you again.
Must be there, waiting with authority.
Well, you do come prepared.
I shall need hard study if it comes to tracking down the billboard. You cannot be Rebecca Nurse.
I am, sir. Do you know me?
It's strange how I knew you, but I suppose you look as such a good soul should. We have all heard of your great charities in Beverly.
Do you know this gentleman? Mr. Thomas Putnam and his good wife Anne.
Putnam, I had not expected such distinguished company, sir.
It does not seem to help us today, Mr. Hale. We look to you to come to our house and save our child.
Your child is too.
Her soul seems blown away. She sleeps and yet she walks.
She cannot eat.
Do you men also have afflicted children?
No, these are farmers. John Proctor.
He don't believe in witches.
I never spoke on witches one way or the other. Come along, Giles.
I think not. I have some few queer questions to ask of this fellow.
I've heard you to be a sensible man, Mr. Hale. I hope you'll leave some of it in Salem. Will you look at my daughter, sir? She has tried to leap out the window. We discovered her this morning on the highway, waving her arms as though she'd fly.
Tries to fly.
She cannot bear to hear the Lord's name, Mr. Hale. That's a sure sign of witchcraft afloat.
No. Let me instruct you. We must not look to superstition in this. The devil is precise. The marks of his presence are as definite as stone, and we must look only for his proper signs and judge nothing beforehand. And I must tell you all that I shall not proceed unless we're prepared to believe me if I should find a trace of hell in us.
It is agreed. We will abide by your judgment.
Good then. Now, sir, what were your first warning of the strangers?
Well, I discovered her and my niece Abigail and 10 or 12 of the other girls dancing in the forest last night.
You permit dancing?
No, it were secret.
Mr. Paris's slave has knowledge of conjuring, sir.
Now we cannot be sure of that, Goody Ann.
I know it, sir. I sent my child. She should learn from Tituba who murdered her sisters.
Goody Ann, you sent the child to conjure up the dead?
Let God blame me, not you. Not you, Rebecca. I'll not have you judging me anymore. Mr. Hale, is it a natural work to lose 7 children before they live a day?
And dead from childbirth?
Aye.
What book is that?
What's there, sir?
Here is all the invisible world caught, defined, and calculated. In these books, the devil sends stripped of all their true disguises. Here are all your familiar spirits, your incubi and succubi, your witches that go by land, by air, and by sea, your wizards of the night and of the day. Have no fear now. We shall find him out if he has come among us, and I mean to crush him utterly if he has shown his face.
Will it hurt the child, sir?
I cannot tell. If she's truly in the devil's grip, we may have to rip and tear to get her free.
I think I will go then. I am too old for this.
Why, Rebecca, we may open up the boil of all our troubles today.
Let us hope for that. I go to God for you, sir.
I hope you do not mean we go to Satan here.
I wish I knew.
Come, Mr. Hale, let's get on. Sit you here.
Mr. Hale, I have always wanted to ask a learned man what signifies the reading of strange books.
What books?
I cannot tell. She hides them.
Who does this?
Martha, my wife. I have often walked at night and found her in the corner reading of a book. Now, what do you make of that?
Wait, that's not
It
necessary.
discomforts me. Last night, mark this. I tried and I could not say my prayers. And then Martha, she closes her book and walks out of the house. And mark this. I could pray again.
Stop it with prayer. That is strange.
I'm not saying she is the devil. You see, I just admire to know what books she reads and why she reads them. Hides them. So not tell me, you see.
Aye. We'll discuss it. Now, mark me, if the devil is in her, you will be witness to some frightful wonders in this room, so please to keep your wits about you. Mr. Putnam, stand close in case she flies. Now then, you dear, will you sit up? And John Hale, minister of Beverly. Come to help you, dear. Do you remember my 2 little girls in Beverly?
How can it be the devil? Why would he choose my house to strike?
What victory would the devil have to win the soul already had? It is the best the devil wants, and who is better than the minister?
That's deep, Mr. Paris, deep.
Does someone afflict you, child? It need not be a woman, mind you, or a man. Perhaps a bird invisible to others comes to you. Perhaps a pig, or any beast at all. Is there some figure bids you fly? In nomine Domini Sabaoth, si filice id ad infernos. Abigail, what sort of dancing were you doing with her in the forest?
Common dancing is also.
I think I have to say that I saw a kettle in the grass where they were dancing.
That were only soup.
Soup. What sort of soup were in this kettle, Abigail?
Why, it were beans and lentils.
Mr. Paris, you did not notice, did you, any living thing? A mouse, perhaps? A spider? A frog?
That frog jumped and we never put it in.
A frog, Abby?
We never put it in.
Abigail, and maybe your cousin is dying. Did you call the devil last night?
I never called him. Tituba called him.
I should like to speak with you.
Goody Ann, will you bring her up?
How did she call him?
I know not. She spoke Barbados.
Did you feel any strangeness when she called him? A sudden cold wind, trembling below the ground?
I never saw no devil.
You cannot evade me, Abigail. Did your cousin drink any of the brew in the kettle?
She never drank it.
Did you drink of it?
No, sir.
Did Tituba ask you to drink it?
She tried, but I refused.
Why are you concealing? Have you sold yourself to Lucifer?
I never sold myself. I am a good girl. I did drink of the kettle. She made me do it. She made Betty do it.
Abby!
She makes me drink blood.
Blood?
My baby's blood? No, not chicken blood. I give you chicken blood.
Woman, have you enlisted these children to the devil?
I never talk with no devil.
Why can she not wake? Are you silencing this child?
I love me, Betty.
You spent your spirit out upon this child, have you not? Are you gathering souls to the devil?
She sends her spirit on me in church. She makes me laugh at prayer.
She have often laughed at prayer.
She comes to me every night to go and drink blood.
You beg me, conjure Abby. She beg me, make
I'll
charms.
tell you something. She comes to me every night when I sleep. She's making me drink corruptions. Sometimes I wake and find myself standing in the open doorway, and not a stitch on my body. I always hear her laughing, singing her Barbados songs in
Tituba, I want you to wake this child.
I have no power
You
on this
most
child,
certainly do,
sir.
and you will lose it from her now. When did you come back with the
I
devil?
never compacted with no devil.
You will confess yourself, or I will take you out and whip you to your death, Tituba!
This woman must be hanged. She must be taken and
No,
hanged.
don't hang Tituba. I tell him I don't desire to work for him, sir.
The devil? Tituba. Have no fear to give us all their names. Do you understand? You'd be a good Christian woman, would you not?
I, sir, a good Christian woman.
And you love these little children.
I, sir, I don't desire to hurt little children.
And you love God.
I love God with all my being.
And in God's holy name.
Bless him, bless him.
And to his glory.
Eternal glory, bless him.
Open yourself, Tituba. Open yourself and let God's holy light shine on you.
Oh, bless the Lord.
When the devil comes to you, does he ever come with another person? Perhaps another person in the village, someone you know.
Who came with him?
Sarah Good. Did you see Sarah Good with him? Or Osborne?
Was it man or woman that came with him?
Was woman.
A woman, you said. What woman?
Why, it was black dark, and I.
You could see him. Why could you not see her?
They was always talking. They was always running around and carrying on.
Out of Salem, you mean? Salem witches.
I, sir, I believe so.
Tituba, you must give us all their names. The devil can never overcome a minister, and we will protect you. You know that, do you not?
Oh, sir, yes, I do.
You confessed yourself to witchcraft, and that speaks a wish to come to heaven's side. And we will bless you for your help.
Oh, God bless you, Mr. Hale.
You are God's instrument, put in our hands to discover the devil's edges among us. You were chosen, Tituba. You were selected to help us cleanse our village. So speak utterly, turn your back on him, and face God, and God will protect you.
Oh, God bless Tituba!
2, 3, 4, how many?
There was four. There was four.
Ooh, their names, their names!
Oh, how many times he bid me kill you, Mr. Paris?
Kill me.
He say Mr. Paris must be killed. Mr. Paris no goodly man, Mr. Paris mean man and no gentleman, and he bid me rise out of bed and cut your throat. But I say no. I don't hate this man. I don't want to kill this man, and he say, you work for me, Tituba, and I make you free. I give you a pretty dress to wear, and I put you high up in the air, and you go and fly back to Barbados. And I say, you lie, devil, you lie. And he come to me on one stormy night, and he say, look, I have white people work for me. And I look, and there was Goody Good.
Sarah Good.
I, sir, Goody Osborne.
I knew it! Goody Osborne were midwife to me 3 times. I begged you, Thomas, did
You must give us all their names.
How can you bear to see these children suffering? Look at them, Teachable. Look at their God-given innocence. Their souls are so tender. We must protect them. The devil is out and preying on them like a beast upon the flesh of a pure lamb. God will bless you for your help.
I want to open myself. I want the light of God. I want the sweet love of Jesus. I danced for the devil. I saw him. I wrote in his book. But I go back to Jesus. I kiss his hand. I saw Sarah Good with the devil. I saw that he was with the devil. I saw Bishop with the devil. I saw Church Chambers with the devil.
She speaks.
I saw